Welcome to Podcast Combat Sports. I'm your host, Frank Palumbo from Plattsburgh, New York, here with episode 6. It's been a while since I've had an episode. I dropped episode 5 with David Weintraub after his injuries and hospitalization, and a lot's happened since then. So if you're wondering where my podcast episodes have been, they were put on hold for wrestling season. Also, I did receive a promotion at work, so I've been really putting all of my focus into learning that new position. But like anything, you get better, and now I am back to the podcast. So I want to keep cranking out weekly episodes for you and for the mixed martial arts community in the area. I was coaching with Saranac in New York, and we had 6 wrestlers advance to the state tournament in the postseason. So we had one place, and we won the Section 7 championship, so I'm very happy with that. So the only thing remaining in wrestling is the NCAA National Tournament and the High School Nationals. Now, the NCAA Division I Championships, they air on ESPN. So I really encourage you to set that on your DVR and at least get the semifinal and final round, because the action is nonstop and it's very entertaining, and you get a real sense of how meaningful the competition is at that point. And the semifinals is arguably the most exciting round of the tournament, maybe even more than the finals, because of the team race. If you win that semifinal match, your team is guaranteed big bonus points. And if you possibly lose that semifinal round, you could slide all the way back to, I think, 6th place. And there's a big drop-off in points. So you see people really hauling ass in that semifinal round. Also, that Division I National Championship, that happens in Madison Square Garden. So you know that there's going to be some UFC attention on that, because UFC has been supporting college and Olympic wrestling ever since wrestling got dropped from the Olympics. UFC has really come along because it's basically a feeder for mixed martial arts in the UFC. So anyway, that's my thing on wrestling. Also, we had Naga Albany. I think it was just this past weekend. I'm seeing lots of the area competitors posting about that on Facebook. Also, in the vein of grappling tournaments, the Vermont Open has started posting flyers and posters on Facebook, and that goes down Saturday, April 9th at Winooski High School. So big shout out to David Quillen of Marshall Way, Vermont, and Julio Fernandez of Vermont Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for putting that great event on every year. And since my last podcast episode with David Weintraub, there was one Xtreme Combat event that I haven't centered a show around, and that was on February 13th. So I kind of want to go through that card a little bit. We had, and this might be out of order for the fight card, Randy Felian knocks out Chris Taylor in the first round, submits Cody Dickershade in the first round. Ian Beatriz defeats David Weintraub in a grappling match. Travis Simpson wins a split decision over Tom Plantier. Tom, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, and if I'm not, just send me a message. Jay Batchelder defeats Jerome DiGregorio by knockout. And here's a fight that I saw online. Chris Rooney knocks out Chris Gallipo in the second round, and that looked like a fantastic fight. Both of those guys have a really big following. Wally Lidgy defeats Jose Cruz by unanimous decision after 3 rounds to capture the featherweight belt. Corey Yance submits Pete Haskins in their welterweight bout. And of course, the main event, TJ George submits David Reginbald in the second round. I tell you, that one shocked me. I didn't see it going that way at all. But I gotta say, I'm really happy for TJ. I'm not just saying that because I had him on my show. I really don't think that anybody would have picked TJ in that match, so that is really cool to see. So congratulations, TJ. And of course, that was for the bantamweight title. And let's talk a little bit about outside of the area MMA. It may have been overshadowed by UFC 196, but Vanderlei Silva is back, and he is signed to Bellator. And in an interesting twist, you never know if everything you see on the internet is true, but I did see a headline that he'll be facing Kazushi Sakuraba in the Japanese promotion Rizin, which is the one that had Fedor fight back, I think it was New Year's Eve. So after Shamrock drops his balls to Hoist Gracie, I have this nostalgic feeling that Rizin is going full retro. Kind of like when you find your old Nintendo in the attic and you know you got to play your old toys one more time. But this makes it seem like Viacom and Spike TV have their hand in the pocket of two organizations, Bellator here in the United States and Rise in Japan. And even though it's Rise's second show, I wouldn't doubt if they're leading the Asian market. And that puts Bellator and Viacom over there too. Plus they're signing big names. Vanderlei Silva, he slowed down, but he's not quite done, especially, coming off essentially a rest. So he's still a dangerous fighter. And they are putting on fights that it's really hard for an MMA fan to look away. I mean, you're going to see Vanderlei Silva and Kazushi Sakuraba, and they're going to be fighting each other. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with Sakuraba, he was labeled a Gracie Hunter because he beat Royce Gracie, he beat Renzo Gracie, and he was a huge personality in Japan. And he had a fantastic style of fighting. It was technical, and it was entertaining. And I think even when he fought Renzo Gracie, he had him in a Kimura, and I think he completely broke his arm. So check out that fight. That was incredible to watch. And for those of you who haven't seen him fight Royce Gracie, it was they had special rules because it was the Gracie family. So it was supposed to be unlimited time, but they did go by 15-minute rounds. So I think Royce Gracie threw in the towel, I think, after the 6th round. So, that's like an hour and a half fight before he gave up. And then Sakuraba goes out and I think he made it to the second round of the following fight. He might have even won it. I'm a little hazy on that, but fights one guy for an hour and a half, and then goes out in the next round and fights again, because it was the Heavyweight Grand Prix, and it was just a tournament. So that's my opinions and thoughts on that. We do talk a little bit of UFC 196 a little bit later in the show when I have my guest, and my guest is the Irish Warrior, Connor McKenna from St. Albans, Vermont. And for those of you who don't know Connor, he's an excellent heavyweight fighter. He was chasing a title in XCP in 2013, and he came very, very close. He had an excellent fight for the title, wound up losing, but he is back, and he gets into the reasons why he's back after nearly 3 years. And he fights this weekend, Saturday, March 12th, at the Lyndonville Armory in Lyndonville, Vermont. And he'll be facing Nathan Boutin in a heavyweight bout. So without further ado, I give you my conversation with Connor, the Irish Warrior McKenna. Just waiting for Connor to call in. And here he is. Hello? Hey, Connor, what's up? You might hear a little interruption right now. I don't know if you can hear that.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I was patching the call in to my recording program.
Oh, totally. I see.
So I'm still kind of experimenting with it. I just got it last week, and this is the first phone call I've actually recorded. So
nice. I'm happy to be the first one.
So how you been?
Good, man. I've been living the life. I've been training for the last 6 months and getting back into shape and getting ready to fight. I intended on not fighting at heavyweight to start off. I was going to go at 205, but I saw that somebody needed a fight, or a fighter, and I called in, and I pretty much, took up the challenge, and the kid dropped from me, and I got another fill-in fight, and that kid dropped also. So I'm here with this guy, Nathan Boutin, and I guess I'm going to tee off with him in a few days. So
yeah, that's amateur MMA at its finest.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It happens all the time,
Huh?
It happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, man. People think they want to fight, and then the next minute, they're hurt because, they realize they're about to get punched in the head. It's not, a lot of people don't realize, by watching TV and shit, that it's a little more intense, You can call things from, sitting down and watching, but, when you are in there, it's a totally different feeling. It's, it's a fight, and you got to do it.
So do you know anything about Nathan Boutin?
Yeah, I know that he's a ex-boxer. He hasn't boxed for like 12 years. I know that he was trained by a woman who was going to fight Ali, Layla Ali. So, he's probably got some good boxing, but I know he's got the record that I saw him having was 1-3, and I know he was going into a tournament, and I never saw anything after that. But I'm guessing he didn't have too much of a boxing career that was that good, so he quit. But he's willing to fight, so I'm hoping that he really brings it. From what I hear, he's been training for about 2 months, doing his jits and everything, and getting ready. So, he's a willing person to throw hands, so hopefully he steps up to the plate in the right way, and I knock his ball out the park.
Yeah, so do you know, where he's from?
Yeah, he's from New York. I don't know where in New York, but I know he's from New York. He trains with, Brad Ebert and, people like that, but I don't know much about their gym. I know that it's not a big fight gym, and not a lot of fighters come out of it, but, I'm not taking the guy too lightly. I feel like, he's going to be very powerful with his hands. He's a little taller than me. He's 6'1", or 6'2", something like that, and I'm only 5'11", which is usually the case in most of my fights because I'm a midget, so I always got to fight somebody bigger. But
I always love it when someone taller than me calls themselves short or something.
Oh, yeah. I always hear the I thought you were going to be bigger thing, So it's fun. It's fun beating up a guy who everybody thinks is way bigger than you,
Yeah. So where are you training now these days?
I'm training at the old Rail City, which is not Rail City anymore. It's called the train station. I train there. I train at I do my workouts, my cardio at Planet Fitness because it's cheap as shit. But that's about that. I'm working with Kyle, Kathy's boyfriend, who also is in. He's he still is a pro fighter. He's a great wrestler. He's really helped me with my wrestling game a lot, and I'm definitely looking to not get taken down, but I don't think I can get taken down with how much wrestling I've done, So I'm definitely ready for the wrestling aspect because of him, and he's keeping me pretty focused, and we have a good game plan. So I'm not really training to fight anyone in particular. I'm just training to know everything and be ready for everything.
Yeah, Kyle's a good guy, man. I like Kyle, and he is a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, man, he is fucking. I remember the first time I rolled with him, he put some moves on me, man. I was not expecting him to do, and he was strong. He wasn't just a good wrestler; he was strong and smart about it. He knew when to explode and when not to, and I was really impressed. So, I'm happy to have him in my corner. I'm happy to have him show me, the ropes and some wrestling because I got them hands, but. If I had a downfall, it would probably be my wrestling.
Yeah, but heavyweight wrestling is different than the lighter weights and the middle weights. It's more positional, and we've been hands on before. Just pushing on the cage. I remember that one time where I think it was Tom had us just working on getting off of the cage and stuff, and I just remember your position being very good and just keeping it simple.
Yeah. I always remember, just to keep my base, pretty much just to keep my base and, think about what I'm doing, don't overextend in certain areas and, don't lean too far forward or, get off of balance and just think about what I'm doing pretty much.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with keeping it simple.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the fundamentals is a badass thing. A lot of people like all the fancy shit, but I see people who use fundamentals and they're good at their fundamentals and they succeed. When
was your last fight?
My last fight was It was in July of about 2.5 years ago.
2013?
I fought Stephen McKinstry for the title, and it got stopped in the second round when I was on top in guard getting hit with little punches. I was bleeding, so I don't know what Corey Minor, the ref, saw, but I feel like I was winning that fight, and I feel like I was keeping good pressure. I feel like if that fight would have went another 30 seconds, I would have done some real damage, and, I would have had a belt. But I feel like, from angles, if refs see something, even though if it's not, dangerous situation and they see that it's dangerous, they think it's dangerous, they'll call it sometimes. And, I've gotten over it, but I definitely wish, that wasn't called like that, because I'm one of those people who have so much fight in me, where if you're going to have to stop me, you're having to either put me out or knock me out or put me to sleep or put me in a submission and mess me up, because I'm not one of those people who like to give up. So, going out in guard, getting like punched in a way that could never hurt anyone, not taking anything away from Steve McKinstry. He had a good night that night for him, but I feel like I could have been way more dominant, and this time I'll never leave it into a ref's hand or a judge's hand again.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in front of my computer. I'm looking up that fight card, and I remember that fight. I was there for that. That was when my guy Dakota fought Travis Garrett.
Yeah. And
the other big fight that everyone was waiting for was Andre versus Shamel.
Yep.
Yeah, and that fight was that night. Yeah, so man, I remember you going for submissions in that fight, and I was watching kind of loosely because I think Dakota was right before you. But yeah, man, I remember like the crowd just going crazy for that fight.
Yeah, it was a wild fight because being in my hometown and everything, everybody came out to watch me win a belt. So it was definitely a hell of a walkout for me. I'll never forget that. I heard the Hendrix music was playing, and I walked out, and it was a completely different scene. I was ready to go.
Is that where you live now, St. Albans?
Yeah, I live in actually right now I'm living in Fairfield. I live with my girlfriend in the upstairs of her parents' house. We live up here and do our thing.
Yeah, every time I go to the fights in St. Albans, there's always like a really good turnout, man. It seems like the St. Albans community is really behind the local MMA.
Oh yeah, totally, man. St. Albans people, it's a rugged town. It's a very blue collar town. It's been plagued with a lot of drugs and violence right now. But besides that, it's a real blue collar town, and real blue-collar people like to see fights, and if they can pay, some not bad ticket price to go watch, 10 fights where people really swing it out because they're looking to prove something to themselves or, whatever they're trying to do. But, St. Albans people like to watch fights, Just growing up around St. Albans, I knew that's one of the reasons I became a fighter. I got into a street fight, and, I started boxing after that because everybody heard I had some hands that were heavy. So
now you gotta make sure that you're ready for the next challenge.
Yeah. I just gotta, I tell you, man, I've never been more mentally prepared for a fight. I've really wanted to just go in there and do my thing, especially after the way I lost. Last time I didn't really feel like I did all I could have done, and now I feel like I'm ready to do what I can do, and I'm skilled, and I'm working on my stuff. So I feel bad for Nathan Boutin.
Is this his first fight or first MMA?
But yeah, he filled in for whoever decided they didn't want to fight. Yeah, he filled in for them, and he's got some balls, man, to fight me. So I give it to him, hey, he's got to be a little crazy or a pretty tough dude, so I'm going to have to fight him good,
Yeah, man. You know, anytime there's, especially with heavyweights, you can't take anybody lightly because, you know, big guys can hit.
Yeah, it's one punch and it's over. You know, and I'm not looking to be that on the receiving end of that. So I'm looking to be dropping them hands, and you know, who knows, maybe dropping him.
Well, you know, if he's got some boxing experience, you know, I'm sure he's you know, he's done the training, he's done the fight prep, and you know, that's half the battle when you get, you know, new people into the sport. You know, I was really nervous going into my first MMA fight, but yeah, I had wrestled for so long that I knew that just the preparation part alone, I was going to be ahead of, you know, probably 50% of the people that I could possibly get matched up against.
Yeah, totally, man. I felt the same way with boxing. And I think, you know, even though that was a little bit of my downfall in my first fight against Provost, because, you know, my hands were what was it, and I wasn't much of a MMA fighter at all. I was just ready to brawl. And, yeah, I felt confident as shit, though. I was like, hey, you know, half these guys didn't have a boxing background or, you know, didn't do anything. So I felt pretty good about it.
So you bring up the Provost fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What happened in that first fight?
Man.
You know I'm setting you up.
Yeah, I know you are. What happened in that first fight? All right, I'm going to say it like it is. I felt like I was winning that fight. I was bringing some pace. I was throwing heavy. Provost took me down, though. He had a good takedown, and I dropped him a few times. And I think I got in his head a little bit. And when I threw that knee, I don't feel like I hit a cup, but I might have hit a cup. He went down, nut shot happened, and that was that. You know, I got a draw on my card, even though he puked in the ring, and in record, or in the rule book, it says you get a win if the other person pukes, no matter what, and I never got no win.
Man, did you go and look up that rule?
Kathy actually came to me and told me that rule.
Oh, that's kind of funny. I actually never heard about that.
Yeah, Kathy came to me and said, you know, if somebody pukes in the ring, the person who made them puke automatically wins. I was like, no way. I was blown away. I was like, shit, what the hell? You know, but then we fought again. It was a good fight. I showed more of my wrestling in that fight. The thing I wanted to do was out-wrestle him. That's all I wanted to do in the second one. And I felt like I did that, and that's what got me the win.
Yeah, I think I cornered Matt for both of those fights. I know at least the first one. I'm pretty sure he was hurt bad from the knee, and it must have been you must have got him just right, because I just remember it going like well past the 5-minute like recovery, and there was no way he was getting back up.
Yeah, he was done. Yeah, I remember that. I was upset, you know, it was being my first fight and shit, and that's the way it ended. But, you know, I always had a lot of character. If you remember back to that fight, I was cocky as shit.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was talking to people in the front row. I believe at one time I slapped Matt's ass, like, in a jokingly manner. And it was just like I had a lot of character, and, you know, that's pretty much what I was like. I was just trying to express myself my first fight too much. You know, I should have just stayed focused and, you know, done what I was there to do, you know?
Yeah, but, you know, people like that stuff.
Yeah, they do. That's why McGregor's so big, you know? You think about, you know, he gets into people's head so well that, you know, they fight themselves before they fight him, and it fucks them up to where they fall into his traps. Like Jose Aldo, you've never seen Jose Aldo run across a ring at somebody, you know? And it's just not something that he does. And McGregor was in his head, and, you know, using little antics like that, like, you know, me talking shit every once in a while, that's all I'm trying to do, is get into somebody's head a little bit, make them feel like I don't care, you know? Yeah,
and, you know, it's all in fun, and, you know, it's kind of part of the show. I I think everybody gets that now.
Yeah, especially in amateur MMA. It's just a part of a show, man. You're just trying to make people like you and, want to see you fight,
Yeah, it's like if it's a good fight, man, that's a bonus right there. But it's not all about just the fight.
Yeah, you got to think there's a big drama thing to this, like fighters and MMA. A lot of people like to see, two people talk shit, and it's unreal how much people like that, like just to see two full-grown people argue for, 10 minutes, and then to know that those people, after they're done arguing, are going to fight is just, something that draws people. And, it's just like wrestling or WWF or something, People love that entertainment factor.
Yeah, man, people go crazy for that stuff. I haven't been into pro wrestling in a long, long time, but, it's I remember it being just very compelling.
Yeah, it was just wild, watching somebody that you thought was a beast go after somebody, and it always was for some certain reason, and you had a storyline and a background pretty much, and it was great, people loved that shit. So, why not bring it into an actual, fist fight,
Yeah, or like a meme war between rematches.
Yeah, totally. Because I know when I went to fight Provost the second time, there was way more people there than the first for me, and it was all about the way, like, I took it, and I kind of, like, I ran my mouth, but not in, like, too bad of a way, but enough to keep people to where they wanted to see me fight or see me get knocked out,
And where was that rematch? Because it's not, like, listed on your record.
It's in a Memorial Auditorium, and my record's mad wrong. Yeah. I got a lot of mistakes on that record because I fought Duval once, and it's not even. I fought Duval twice, and I don't believe any of them are on there.
Well, the one on mixedmartialarts.com it's got Duval on there twice. Gym Wars and Anarchy won in 2012, but it doesn't have the second Provost fight.
It doesn't have the second Provost fight?
Nope.
That's weird, man. There's always a website. Every website that I've ever checked my record on, they have my record fucked up. So it's funny to me because whoever's looking to train to fight me, they don't know what my record is because it's different on each site, So people underestimate me because I think that they'll look at it and say, "Oh man, this ain't that good of a record." But in all reality, I've been in some wars and I've been in some good fights.
I just used to keep track of my own and just keep it on my Facebook page or something. That way, if I get a phone call from anybody, at least they got the right information. Yeah. I think I'm gonna actually start doing that because I get a lot of people telling me, "Hey, don't you have a record of this?" And I'm like, "No, it's not that." Like I got more fights than that, and I've done different things than that. So what is your record?
Right now, all right, let's count this out. So we got Provost. I beat Duval twice. So that's 3 wins. I lost to Stephen McKinstry. That's 1 loss. I have a draw against Provost. So I got 1 draw, and I got a loss to Garrett Moldoff.
Okay, so the one on mixedmartialarts.com is pretty accurate with the exception of that the Matt Provost rematch that you won.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's not too bad.
No.
Yeah, 3 wins, 2 loss, 1 draw.
Yeah.
So when's the move to light heavy?
That's going to be in July. I'm going to fight at 205, hopefully for the belt. That's going to be my next run for the belt.
Who's the 205 champ?
There is none. It's vacant right now. I'm going to be the champ.
Yeah, good answer.
That's my belt. I deserve it, So I'm ready to take it.
And why the lag between or why the gap? It's been over 2 years, almost 3 years since the last fight. Why come back now?
My father got cancer again, and I wasn't really wanting to go through this again without something to help me. And the happiest I ever was when I was fighting and winning. And I enjoy training. I enjoy kicking ass. I enjoy being the cocky me. So, I missed it. And it's definitely something to take my mind off, of what's going on in life and reality. But it's also something where I can take a little anger, if I'm pissed off, at something, it goes to the gym. And I take it out in the gym, and I go complete beast mode. I've never been, and you'll see, I've never been bigger in my life. I'm so strong right now, it's not even funny. It's just because I stay constantly working, because in my head, my dad's fighting cancer. I can fight a human, easily. So let's do this,
Yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's life. He. If anybody, dude, he's a badass dude. My father. This is a guy who was told he was supposed to be dead 8 to 10 years ago, and he didn't go. And he's always been there, and he's always been, kicking ass. This is a dude who's had like 1,000 fights in his life. He was a bad dude. So, nothing takes him out. So he's gonna fight it, and he'll do good.
Good, man. I like to hear that.
Yeah, man.
So let's talk about the future. Plans in fighting.
My plans in fighting, I plan on winning this belt after this fight. I'm not overlooking this fight, but I'm ready to fight, and it's more of a warm-up fight for me for the title. I just got to get ready for the title, and all I'm thinking about is winning that belt and going pro. To be honest with you, I want to end up in Bellator by the end of next year. So I'm going to fight as many fights as I can. I think I might be in a Muay Thai judo competition at a Gutterson Arena in May. So, hats off to anything. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go. I'm in great shape, and I'm just ready to take people's dinner and eat it. Ready to get what's mine.
So I remember you hunting down some sponsors a while back, and I saw that you were coming back, and you're looking for those sponsors. So how's that been going?
It's good, man. I got a bunch of people helping me. And like you said, St. Albans, great community, man. I got one of my buddies, Tanner Conley, TCLLC. He does it all. He paints. He does people's driveways. He's just one of those people who just goes out and works hard, and I appreciate that he was sponsoring me. And then we got the Bayside Pavilion who sponsored me in St. Albans, right near the bay, and they got great food, and I couldn't ask for more. They've sponsored me for two different fights, and that's just dynamite for a business to do, especially in like times like now, And then you got. I got my girlfriend's mother, who I call a sponsor, and she sponsors me with life, I guess. She gives me a lot of stuff to let me go train, and she helps me out, And she's a hairstylist, and she's got her own shop and that stuff. And
in St. Albans?
Yeah, actually, it's in Fairfield. Yeah,
oh, okay.
She's got her own shop right attached to the house. It's wild. She's got a lot of customers. She cuts my hair, so that haircut that I'll have the fight night will be from her.
Yeah, anything special, or is it just going to be just a nice and
I'm going bald for this one, and I'm going to keep a little facial hair, and I'm going to be ready to throw hands,
You doing the Kimbo? The Kimbo hairdo?
Doing kind of a Kimbo. but I won't gas out, and I actually know MMA, So I'll do the Kimbo, and I got my boss also at Fenna Son painting. He's really helped me out by letting me being flexible with my hours. So I take my hats off to him, and
Yeah, man, that's huge right there.
Yeah, because if your job doesn't understand what you're going through to get to what you're trying to get, it's not even plausible to do. So he really has let me be flexible, especially with my dad you know, if I need to go do the driveway during the winter at my parents' house, they'll let me go do that, you know, and it's real good to know that people are trying to help me out, you know. So those are the people that are helping me right now. You know, I've had some, you know, other offers. I was trying to get, you know, some other sponsors, but things didn't really go through. But, hey, I'm always open for sponsors, you know, to help me train and help me go.
Yeah, man. It's, you know, that kind of infrastructure is huge for the sport. And, you know, they're getting coverage pretty much all over the state because, you know, Xtreme Combat, and that's statewide.
Yeah, totally.
It goes all over.
And even this, man, this is dynamite, you know, little things like this, you know, people hear this and it's good. They feel good, you know, just like what you said, you know, talking about my sponsors. People feel good that I'm able to say something and you're giving me the outlet to, you know, and this is going to be heard by people on Facebook and everything.
Yeah, you know, it's a small file, you know, it goes, you know, right through iTunes. It's easy, you know, you listen in the car, you know, just put it on your phone and, you know, just, you know, put headphones on at work or something. I used to do that all the time, just listen to podcasts just all day at work. And I'm like, you know, I can actually do something in this area with a little podcast. So, I mean, I just want to kind of contribute to the MMA community in the area because it's like a hotbed over here in, you know, Vermont and northern New York, and it's easy to do, and you know, gives guys like you some exposure and, you know, get some sponsors on board.
Yeah, totally, man, and I appreciate you letting me do this, man. You know, it's hard to, like you said, it's hard to get sponsors. It's hard to do these things, you know, and being at work and, you know, even little things like this, it really helps, you know, and it's nice to be able to tell people what I've been doing and I've been training and, you know, I'm getting ready and I'm not just sitting on the couch eating some potato chips and shit.
So what's your training like?
I train twice a day. I do cardio by myself at Planet Fitness. I'll go through, like, from the bicycle to the treadmill. You know, I just do everything at high pace. I try to keep my heart rate around, like, 190 at all times. I do that. I wrestle with Kyle a lot. We do a lot of, you know, technique work. We're doing a lot of different positioning work. You know, I don't want to give too much away, but, you know, I'm definitely ready to not be taken down and sprawl and brawl.
Well, if anybody tries to shoot on you, they're crazy. I wouldn't shoot on you. And I know how to wrestle.
I'm too big, man. I'm too big, you know?
Yeah, you don't shoot on heavyweights. But if they do, man, just be prepared.
Yeah, I'm definitely prepared. I'm prepared for the shot. I'm prepared for the clinch. And I'm ready to dirty box. Show this guy what dirty boxing is, you know?
Yeah.
Give him a nice welcoming to MMA and, you know, see if he stays.
So, did you watch the UFC fights the other night?
I did. They were good, you know? The night of upsets, that's what everybody says, but, you know, if you really look at, you know, Nate Diaz, that fucker has been with fought a lot of dudes, and he's got a mean jiu-jitsu game, and Conor McGregor, man, the only two losses he had prior to that was from jiu-jitsu. So, you know, he exploited McGregor in a big way, I feel.
Yeah. I thought the fights were great. I'm actually happier for Miesha Tate than I probably should be, but I was ecstatic when she won. I was ecstatic when Holly Holm beat Rousey, and I'm just about as ecstatic that Miesha beat Holly. And,
totally.
It seemed like a similar fight to when Miesha beat. I think it was Sarah Kaufman. I might be wrong on that, but for the Strikeforce title.
Yeah, I think you are right.
She was just getting lit up on the feet. I mean, she did better on the feet, but it just came down to her wrestling, and I think she won. I think she won that in a late stoppage. I'd have to check that out. I might be talking out of my rear end, but it seemed to me like a similar fight. So like she's been there before. So I was just happy to see a wrestler use their wrestling to win.
I thought it was a dynamite performance by her. She kept a good pace. She kept Holly Holm away. with her wrestling. And when she needed to take Holly Holmes down, she did it. She controlled, like, completely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She needed to take her down, and it wasn't a clean takedown. It wasn't a pretty takedown, but she got her down. And in wrestling, it don't matter how you get your 2 points, man. It's 2 points, and she got her down. So how many UFC fight kits do you own?
Huh?
How many UFC fight kits do you own?
UFC fight what?
Fight kit. Yeah, the shirt, the shorts, the hoodies,
I don't own any.
For real?
Yeah, I don't own any. I wish I did. I don't own nothing.
You're a fan of the Reebok stuff?
I'm not, because I know how fighters make their money, and a lot of it's through sponsors. And it's hard for, guys in the UFC to sponsor, to get sponsors and to get more money when they're getting paid like, $10,000 to $20,000 on a fight card, and especially undercard fighters, who aren't going to make that much. And I feel like the Reebok deal kind of, threw out the pureness of getting sponsors and stuff, and making a name for yourself and kind of branding yourself in your own way, because it's all one thing. The clothes are nice though. I would wear the clothes.
Yeah, I've gone into like sporting goods stores, and I've never seen an actual, like a set of shorts or a shirt, with their name. I've never seen the fight kit before. I just want to like get my hands on it and see it. But I think like for $90, I'm not dropping $90 on a T-shirt with someone else's name on it anytime soon. But I did promise Matt Secor that when he gets in the UFC, I'll buy his fight kit. And he was slated to fight what's that blonde guy at 170? The guy that fought St. Pierre and lost. Yeah, Josh Koscheck.
Koscheck, yes.
Yeah, so he was supposed to fight him. So that's a big, higher profile fight for him. But anyway, Matt, if you're listening, I'm gonna make good on that.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, and he started in the Burlington Brawl, so.
Yeah, man. It's that far away. It's not even. That's what I keep thinking to myself is, if I can make it, if anybody can make it, I can make it. I got heart, and I might not have all the skill in the world, but I got heart and power, and I got a hell of a hard face. So, I might as well do it. I might as well go for it, because other people are doing it, and,
Why not you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a good goal. We got Secor, who started in the Burlington Brawl in 2010. Maybe a little bit before that he started fighting. He's in Bellator, and he's a title contender. I fought a kid from the Syracuse area. I fought him in Burlington, not at the Memorial Auditorium, at that music place.
Yep.
I can't even remember the name of it. It's like behind that Burger King.
Oh, yeah. The Expo?
Flynn Theater, maybe?
Oh, yeah, Flynn. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he was in Bellator, year ago, 2 years ago, he was in Bellator. Freaking, it's Dada 5000 headlined a card on Spike.
Yeah, dude, that would've been, oh my God. You want to talk about a pissed off heavyweight? I'm sitting in the living room that whole fight, and my girlfriend's looking at me, and she's probably like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm training my ass off. I know all this stuff. I'm good. And these guys are making way more money than me right now. Like, what the shit? Mind-blowing.
No, I mean, in one aspect, it looks silly, but Bellator is a major organization. They got they got Viacom behind them. They're on Spike TV. Just considering Spike TV had UFC and The Ultimate Fighter, Spike TV is just about synonymous with MMA. So,
oh yeah,
I think Bellator by the end of next year is an awesome goal to have, because it's attainable.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man, and I'm ready. I've been there and I've done it, so I'm ready. I'm ready to take that step. I just need a couple warm-up fights, high-profile warm-up fights.
So, let's get your social media stuff. You're on Facebook. Do you got a Twitter?
Yeah, I got Twitter. I'm Irish Warrior 58.
And that's your ring name?
Yeah, I am the Irish Warrior.
Yeah, you got a built-in fan base right there because of the other guy. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to go. Yeah, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So I hope everybody has a good time that night. And if people are listening, come out, watch me light somebody up. Hopefully, definitely.
And that fight is this Saturday night?
That's this Saturday night.
And where's it at?
It is in Lyndonville at the Armory.
Oh yeah, that's a nice venue.
Yeah, it's a small one, but it's loud. So I feed off the crowd, and I know they're gonna go for the Vermont boy. So.
Well, I'm a New York guy, but I'll go for the Vermont guy.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, what? Anything else? And any way else to get at you online?
Just look me up. I got a fan page. There's a Connor McKenna fan page. I don't run it. But there's that. Then there's you can just look me up on Facebook. It's Connor McKenna, O-R, not E-R, and that's with 2 N's, C-O-N-N-O-R. Yeah, so just hit me up if anybody wants to ask any questions about anything, where I train and who I train with, or, if they ever want to come down and train with me, just ask, I'm right here.
And I'm going to put links to all these things in the show notes. So when the link for the podcast gets shared, all that info is going to go along with it. Perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Cool. Man, you got anything else?
No, man, I just want to thank you and, thank my sponsors, thank my parents, and, thank God. I'm ready to fight, and I just want to let everyone know that I'm going to do my best Saturday night, and I'm going to go 110, and I'm going for the win. I don't care how I get it. Whatever opening is, I'm winning. So come see me Saturday night.
Yeah, brother, we'll do.
It was good talking to you, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Peace.
All right. Bye. Connor McKenna. So it's going down this Saturday night, March 12th, the Lyndonville Armory in Lyndonville, Vermont. Also on that card, Dylan Felian faces Devin Bell. Robert Devlin faces my boy Cody Allen. Steve Bogenschutz has a grappling match against Brett Trahan, and he's excellent on the ground. Then Randy Felian faces Dustin Smeedy. Then Johnny Adams and Prince Ali go at it on the ground. That's a grappling match. David Gates and Piotr Tuznik go at it. That's a 155 MMA match. Then we got our intermission and our heavyweight bout with Nathan Boutin and Connor McKenna. Then the grappling final. So I don't know if you're thinking Trahan versus Ali on that one. Then we got 2 title fights. Gary Cameron and Derek Mounier. That's a middleweight title, Muay Thai title fight. Then a flyweight Muay Thai title bout is Napoleon Meth and David Weintraub. After that, we got the headliner, and that's Nick Bent and Mike Ruetz, and that's the middleweight MMA title bout. So, should be a good night of fights. Get your tickets, get VIP. It's the only way to go. There's still some left, but not many. So check out the show notes, support the sponsors, and support the sponsors of XCP as well. You can find me on Facebook. I'm at PCSMMA. That's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud, and iTunes. That's PCSMMA. Podcast Combat Sports is the name of the show, and I'm at Plattsburgh Combat Sports. PCSMMA. Find me, follow me, and download the show. And go to iTunes and rate the show as well. Rate and review it. That's the only way things like this survive and grow is by audience support. Also, let me know who you'd like to hear on the show. So that does it for me this week. I will be back next week with a new episode. So until then, ciao, Lauditori.